one day somebody does something unspeakable to someone else, to someone you hardly knew, and you do something about it, because you can.
This story comes to us from Maryland Matters. The violent arrests and fear tactics surrounding federal immigration enforcement are hiding in plain sight. Families watch masked federal agents swarm neighborhoods, use excessive force, and detain people without clear legal authority. And now this month, with the shooting deaths of Renee Good and Alex Preddy in Minneapolis, the line between law enforcement and lawlessness is blurring even further. Where are America's police leaders? National policing organizations, from the International Association of Chiefs of Police to the major City Chiefs Association, the Police Executive Research Forum, and the National Sheriff's Association, brand themselves as champions of ethics, transparency, and bias-free policing. Yeah, okay. They publish reports on community engagement, procedural justice, and constitutional practice. Yet when Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, deploy tactics that violate every standard those groups promote, their silence is deafening. That silence reverberates far beyond the immigrant families targeted in raids. The President's Task Force on 21st Century Policing made legitimacy the cornerstone of public safety. When any law enforcement body, local, state, or federal, behaves as if due process is optional, legitimacy collapses. People don't differentiate between uniforms. They see badges, guns, and government power, and they react with fear. Chiefs and sheriffs know this dynamic all too well. When residents are terrified of the police, criminals thrive. Witnesses stay silent. Victims stop calling for help. Yet even as ICE agents act with violence and impunity, killing unarmed people, operating in unmarked vehicles, concealing their affiliation, local police leaders largely look away. This moment demands clarity, not evasion. Police executives who claim to uphold community policing and democratic values cannot remain neutral, as federal agents behave more like paramilitaries than public servants. Local departments must draw a bright and public line. They will not assist in civil immigration enforcement, will not turn community members over to ICE without judicial process, and will not condone abuse carried out in the name of federal authority. Non-participation is not politics, it's professionalism. Civil immigration enforcement is not a criminal function. When local departments join ICE raids or share data that enables mass detentions, they exchange public safety for fear. Trust, painstakingly built over years, evaporates overnight. Citizens stop reporting crimes, not because they lack patriotism, but because they no longer feel safe approaching the people sworn to protect them. I don't trust a lot of them either. Local police officers also carry a legal and ethical duty to intervene when rights are violated. If they witness federal agents using excessive force, detaining individuals without warrants, or profiling residents by ethnicity, silence amounts to complicity. The badge does not grant immunity from accountability, it imposes it. And every resident, whether a citizen, visa holder, or undocumented worker, deserves equal protection under the Constitution. The community policing model rests on a simple truth. Safety depends on partnership. When neighbors fear that a call for help could end with a deportation or a bullet, that partnership dies. The recent shootings should force a reckoning. The deaths of Renee Good and Alex Preddy, the product of chaotic ICE operation that witnesses describe as reckless and unprovoked, has sparked outrage and disbelief. The Minneapolis shootings with ICE claims of agent self-defense follow the same script: secrecy, deflection, no public accountability. If any city officer behaved that way, an investigation would be immediate. Yet because the shooters carry federal credentials, most police leaders remain publicly silent. That silence is not neutral. It reshapes the public's understanding of law enforcement itself. Each unchallenged ICE abuse teaches communities that power answers only to power. Every local chief or sheriff who chooses discretion over decency reinforces a hierarchy where constitutional policing is optional. Local police executives face a fundamental choice. They can let ICE define what policing means in America, unmasked, unaccountable, and unbound by the rules they claim to defend. Or they can reclaim their profession's integrity by affirming that democracy demands restraint, transparency, and a respect for human rights. The courage to draw that line would cost little. A statement, a policy, a refusal to cooperate in civil sweeps. But it would mean everything to the people who still believe constitutional policing is worth defending. Silence is easy. Responsibility is harder. But if police leaders still believe in their own code of ethics, they can no longer look away. But they do look away. They turn their heads and they say, you know what? I see nothing. They do. When cops do wrong, other cops defend it. Well, nothing I can do about it. Can't help you. Sorry. But yet we're supposed to call the police when we need help. We're supposed to call the police when our constitutional rights are violated. Can't help you. I'm sorry. It's another law enforcement officer. I can't help you. I'm sorry. Bye. And that's why people are losing their faith in American law enforcement officers. That's why people hate cops, as they say, because they refuse to live by their own words. We're about accountability and transparency. But when the opportunity arises to prove those words, they turn their heads and say, nothing we can do. Sorry,